morning.
We finally have snow. There's nothing in that cup. Planning on having something in the cup, but it's been a while since I've used it, and I cleaned it, but I'm still kind of nervous to put anything in it. I don't drink coffee, and I think that's what you usually put in a when you're drinking when you have something in a cup in a morning talk show. Anyways, so Amigo, welcome back to Amigo in the Morning, episode 2. Usually done every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, but today's Friday. We had some technical difficulties yesterday, so doing it on Friday. Gonna do two days in a row with an episode. Not the way we planned on doing it. Didn't want to have technical difficulties so early in the series. If you're new to the show, Amigo in the Morning is a talk show hosted by me, Austrias and so on, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning. And except for today, it's Friday. Coast to coast and around the world, welcome to Minneapolis, Minnesota, to Amigo in the Morning, the only talk show named after a dog that doesn't actually star a dog. I don't know if that's true. Something I forgot to mention in the last episode, if you want to sponsor, hit me up. First 6 episodes free, $5 an episode. I mentioned that in the introduction. Also, guests. I want to have guests on the show. And, it's early in the morning. You have to come in early in the morning, or you could just, call and we could speak on the phone. Saying guests. And also, I still need the questions and the quotes. You can do that on my Amigo in the Morning Instagram, at Amigo in the Morning. And on Twitter with hashtag AMQA and hashtag AMQuotes. On the Instagram, it'll be on the story highlights, by the way. Today's episode might be a little longer than usual. Episode 1 was 13 minutes. I thought the episodes were going to be more like 8 minutes, but it was 13. Today's episode might be a little bit longer because I have a little more explanation, and that's what I just spent the last 2.5 minutes doing. Alright, so let's start with the news. Studies have shown that the amount of kids without health insurance is I think the amount increased by over 2 3/4 thousand, so over 275,000. That's per Georgetown University, and kind of correlating with that, measles has been shooting up the past 2 years. Cases have been found a lot more, and that's not good at all. And there are tools that are nearly 2.5 million years old found in Algeria, which could begin to rewrite human history. I do plan to talk a little bit more about the news right now. Beginning stages, I didn't really think it through, and I kind of just look up the news before I do the episode, but eventually I want to kind of figure out a little bit more in advance and have a little bit of a conversation about it, especially if I have guests. Today's weather in Minneapolis, high of 33 degrees, partly sunny, but we did get snow. What's today? Today's Friday. On Tuesday night, there was no snow on the ground. Last night, it was all white. So within 2 days, it's been just almost a blizzard. New York City high is 43, 60% chance of rain. Miami high is 78, partly sunny. Houston high is 78, chance of storms. And Los Angeles high of 67 and sunny. I have an alarm on, and I don't remember if I turned my alarm off. That's why I checked my phone. In the NBA, there were only 3 games, and they all had playoff implications. All 6 teams that played last night are either in the hunt or at the top of the conferences. The Raptors beat the Warriors 131-128 in overtime. Speaking of which, Steph Curry had the letter he wrote to a 9-year-old leak. That was nice. Lakers beat the Pacers 104-96 in LA, and the Clippers, who are surprisingly good, beat the Kings in Sacramento 133-121. Lots of NBA action today. Bulls, Pistons, Cavaliers, Celtics, Jazz, Hornets, Wizards, Sixers, Grizzlies, Nets, Hawks, Thunder, Pelicans, Heat, Rockets, Spurs in the meeting of Nuggets, Blazers. And then Saturday is the Timberwolves. And that performance they had on Wednesday night versus the Spurs was just so good. I still haven't been able to watch since that losing streak. It's just kind of forgetting to. It was like a 42-point game at one point or something like that. Covington had a plus 44, which was kind of incredible. Okogie needs to play more. Rose needs to play more. Wiggins needs to play less. Teague needs to play less. And in the NFL last night, the Saints scored 10 points and the Cowboys scored 13. It was an incredible game. I posted on my Instagram and Twitter that if you told me they would combine for 23 points, I would have asked in the first quarter. It gives me hope, because when the Vikings lost to the Saints, I thought, well, if we can't beat them at home, we're not going to beat them on the road. We basically have to play them on the road now. But a performance like that won't put you anywhere, even at home. And, when I was thinking about it last week when the Vikings were playing the Packers, we held the Saints to pretty much 20 points. They got 7 off the pick six, and they got 7 off the Thielen fumble and the Treadwell throwing his helmet. So we really kept them in check. Sunday, lots of big games, but we'll get to talk about that tomorrow because there's a Saturday episode as well. So today's episode is being noticed by famous people, and these are people who are famous to me. I guess some of them, are famous in general, but these are people that I consider famous, and that it gave me a special feeling when I was noticed by them, mentioned by them, my knees in the way, and just, So you might not have heard of some of these people, but, the first ever famous person to notice me was an actress, Melora Hardin. She followed me on Instagram. Victor the Viking later followed me on Instagram, and then this spring, Fernando Rodney, who had just become the Twins' new closer, followed me on Instagram, and we actually had some conversations. The first game I went to was the second home game of the season at 27 degrees, coldest game in Twins history. And I just sent a picture of the field, and I sent it to him, and I said, let's get this dub today, and he replied. And I said, why are you using your phone in the dugout? And he replied with sunglasses emoji. So that was cool. I talked to him. That happened in a couple other times I went last year. Colleen Wolfe, an NFL Network analyst, followed me on Instagram also. A couple weeks into my road trip to the East Coast. And then Twitter mentions a Minnesota sports account I follow, Real MN Sports Fan, replied to me in the summer, something about the Twins, and they were talking about the Vikings, and I was talking about, we got blown out 38-7, and he was like, gotta focus on the positives, and since then I've replied to some of his tweets, and he's replied back to me. He also followed me on Instagram a couple weeks ago. Kevin Burkhardt, my favorite NFL announcer for NFL on Fox, he's the B team. He replied to me. I tweeted, can't wait till the World Series is over so Kevin Burkhardt can finally commentate some games, but he hasn't done any Vikings games since week 2 this year. He did 5 last year or something like that. Andy Carlson, host of the Purple for the Win podcast, the first time he ever replied to me on Twitter, I think, was when I posted my idea that the Vikings should do a 5-2 defense. And then a couple other times he replied. And then Vikings Twitter just in general. A couple days ago I talked about how by the time I graduate I want to be recognized as part of Vikings Twitter. And Vikings Twitter, I'm sure all fan bases have this, but there's a group of people I follow, that work for different places, work for ESPN, work for SB Nation, just radio shows, have their own stuff. And they're considering Vikings Twitter, and during games or during anything, that's kind of what my whole Twitter feed is. And I guess you could say I'm part of it because I live tweet games sometimes and stuff like that, but I want to be recognized by it. And then I posted that, and I tagged a bunch of them in it, including Andy Carlson, and a bunch of them replied and liked the tweet, and then Andy Carlson started following me as of a couple days ago, so that's great. Also, Fine Brothers replied to a comment once. it was a YouTuber couple to react, and I said, why not David and Liza? And they're like, well, I can't get everybody all the time. And Chiseled Adonis, a YouTuber, also replied to one of my ideas for a sports commentary video. He said, I asked him if he had used it, and he said yes. So today's question of the day, once again, I had to get off YouTube tag because nobody's replying. So what's your favorite movie? And then once again, can't come up with one answer. A lot of things come to mind, but Elf is classic, and try to watch it outside of Christmas. It's a great Christmas movie. Usually the first time I watch it is probably like October every year, but haven't yet this year. I keep meaning to. And I think it's just a good movie without, just Christmas in general. It's also very nostalgic. Every time I see it, I start to tear up because I'm like, it's finally Christmas season. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban is probably my favorite all-time movie. Very, very good. Definitely the most memorable one. The book's also my favorite book. Also is the Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. And the Truman Show was my favorite movie for a while. I haven't seen it for a while. But that's also a good movie. So, if you're new to the show, every episode we close on either a motivational quote, a piece of advice, or a fun fact, and I spin the wheel to decide which one it's gonna be. Follow me on Instagram at @auspicious1. It's motivation. Today's motivation is, it always seems impossible until it's done. So that does it for today's episode. I guess it was a little shorter than last time. Follow me on Instagram at @auspicious1, at Amigo in the morning. Subscribe to this channel, subscribe to my main channel, @auspicious1. Link in the description. Subscribe to my second channel, @auspicious2. Subscribe to or follow me on Twitter at JasonCell_sports and at Amigo in the AM. Add me on Snapchat, @AuspiciusCell. Skull production value. That's what I was going to do at the outro. I don't know if enough people would get the reference, though. It's an Andy Carlson reference. Purple for the Win podcast. But, yeah, thanks for watching.